I'm Esther Dillard on the Black Information Network, chatting with writers and authors who offer an added perspective for our listeners. This is The Color Between the Lines. In this edition of The Color Between the Lines, we're discussing addiction, speaking with a board-certified physician and with specialties in psychiatry and additional medicine. And we're talking to her about her new book, Unaddiction, 6 mind-changing conversations that could save a life. Welcome, Dr. Nzinga Harrison to the BIN.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Well, before we get into the what prompted you to write this book, you shared in your book that there was like 81% of people withholding information about their doctors, which is really surprising. Is this among all patients, just Black patients? And can you provide or explain why and how the healthcare system can change that?
Yeah, this is among all patients. So 81% of people withhold information from their doctor. My thought is that it is likely higher among communities that are traditionally mistreated. So Black communities, LGBTQ, women, immigrants. And the root of it is the judgmental nature of our healthcare system, right? So people want to be perceived well by their doctor. They want to be thought highly of. And so when you add an illness like addiction that is already stigmatized, that we've put so much shame on, of course, people can't tell us about it. And that really makes it deadly. If you cannot tell me, your doctor, about everything that is going on with your health, I'm not in a good position to truly be able to help and make those decisions with you. And so I put it on us as doctors to create a safer, non-judgmental, trusting relationship that allows you not to be in that 81%.
And I imagine that it probably the percentage is higher among those who don't have as much money or have, their economic status is different. Because people, I guess, that are, that have a higher status have more. Somebody's going to treat Oprah a little differently than perhaps Joanne down the street.
That's exactly right. And it is easier for Oprah to find her voice than it is for Joanne, right? And Joanne also likely day in and day out has those experiences of people undervaluing her, devaluing her. And so you don't want to take that risk with your doctor.
Mm-hmm. What prompted you to start this book, to write it?
Yeah, so I decided really young to be a doctor, and I thought I'd be a pediatrician because that's the only doctor I knew. I don't have doctors in my family. And then I got a surgeon in 7th grade. Luckily, I didn't have to get surgery, but he was amazing. So I was like, I'm going to be a surgeon. But then when I went to medical school, I did my psychiatry rotation, and I was like, what the, fill in the word that you are most comfortable with in this blank. The way the healthcare system is treating people with addiction is killing them. And then that opened my eyes that it's not just in the healthcare system. It is every day. The way people with addiction are being treated is killing them. And that's really where I developed my professional passion, 3rd year of medical school back in 2001. Now that I'm a psychiatrist, I can look at my family history and see all the addiction on mom's side, all the addiction on dad's side, all of the mental health conditions on mom's side, all of the mental health conditions on dad's side. I was probably destined to be an addiction psychiatrist just based on my family experiences.
You take a very storied approach in this book, including really important facts, but it doesn't read like a textbook. What kind of, I guess, response have you gotten from readers? And does the approach differ? I mean, does the response differ from those who are physicians?
Yeah, thank you so much. So I did not write this to be a textbook. I wrote this hoping, I've taken care of thousands of people with addiction over my career and their family members. And I've started Eleanor Health, and we take care of thousands of people every single month. I hoped that this book could get to people that maybe I won't pass in everyday life. And I wrote it in a storied way. Thank you. That's like the nicest thing anyone has said to me all day. Because I want people to see themselves in this book. every single one of us is touched by addiction. And one of the stigmas that keeps people from getting healthy is that it's them. And it's not them, it's us. And so I wanted you to see yourself in this book. I wanted it to be safe for you to see yourself in a book that's about addiction. But let's be clear, I need physicians and nurse practitioners and therapists reading this book also, because it is also a map for how to take care of people that have addiction.
Have you gotten any response from physicians after reading this book on what they
Yes.
feel about it?
Yes. The response is, why did I not learn this in medical school? The response is, I never thought about it like this. The response is, I had no idea addiction is more inheritable than diabetes and asthma. The response is, I had no idea the relapse rate for asthma is higher than the relapse rate for addiction. And it was, other physicians will say to me, I don't know how you practice addiction medicine, must be a dirge. No, it is a hopeful specialty. And that has been the feedback that I've gotten. It's like, wow, I can see the hope. And this makes me think like I could be doing more.
For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Esther Dillard on the Black Information Network, speaking with Dr. Nzinga Harrison about her latest book called Unaddiction, 6 Mind-Changing Conversations That Could Save a Life. You mentioned in the book a sort of magic formula. Can you please explain what that is and how people are supposed to apply it?
Yeah, so this is the concept of addiction that I'm teaching in the book, and the book is structured in 6 chapters. And it's really like for any chronic condition, addiction included, there are biological reasons, psychological reasons, environmental reasons that you're born into that increase your risk for that illness. And then as you become an adult, there are biological reasons, psychological reasons, and environmental reasons that develop over your life that increase your risk for developing that illness. And so the magic formula says, if I can teach you to know your individual biological risk that you were born into, your psychological and environmental, and that's physical environment and cultural environment that you were born into, and we can look at those with you as an adult also, then we can craft your own individualized formula for how you address your substance use or your addiction. And so I liken it to cancer. What if there was only one chemo regimen? No matter what kind of cancer you have, no matter what your circumstances are, no matter where you came from, there is one regimen. And if you have cancer and you do that regimen and it doesn't work, it's because you didn't want your cancer to go away. That's our current approach to addiction. And so the magic formula is that personalized data information driven approach that empowers people to take, control of their own health.
And you share exercises at the end of each chapter of the book for readers to use in their own lives. Which one of these, I guess, exercises did you find was the most effective for your patients? And can you give me a short example?
Yeah, so it varies, right? Depending on which of these buckets I'm working in, and most of the time we're in all 6 of the buckets, but what resonates with a person, one bucket, they may have more motivation for it than another. And so these exercises, that as I'm taking care of a person, I'm listening. I'm listening for what makes you tick, what motivates you, where you feel disconnected in life. And those are the exercises that I'm trying to give. And so knowing this is Black Information Network, I think one that is so critical that the overwhelming number of doctors are missing because we have not been taught it. Chapter 5, weathering. The medical literature tells us, independent of anything else, racism and discrimination kills us. It kills us slowly. It kills us with depression, anxiety, addiction, diabetes, high blood pressure, premature death, cancer. It kills us. And so in this book, I go through one, recognizing the experiences you've had with racism and discrimination, scaling it and putting a score on how much that is affecting your health, and give you a script for how to take that to a doctor or a healthcare professional to start making that part of your magic formula accessible.
Really actionable steps. I really appreciate that. What is the, I guess because we're running out of time, what is the overall message that you hope readers will come away with when they pick up your book?
Yeah, the overall message starts on the foundation that drug use is a choice.
Mm,
As Americans, all of us, almost all of us, make the choice to use drugs at some point, if not many points in of our lives. Addiction is an illness. And when you can understand addiction as an illness, that empowers you to practice prevention. That empowers you to want to help because we want to help people who have illnesses. That empowers you to use compassion as a tool. It also holds the medical establishment accountable to understanding and practicing a standard of care that helps people get better. 75% of people with addiction get better. People don't know that. People think addiction is not treatable. 75% of people get better. The more you know, the more you increase your chance that you or your loved one is in that 75%. And the more we hold the medical establishment accountable, the higher that 75% turns into 80, turns into 85, turns into 90.
mm. Well, thank you. These are really great statistics. You've obviously done a lot of research and a lot of hard work, and I'm hoping that this will be something that others will see as a great resource for them and their families.
Thank you so much.
That's it for this edition of The Color Between the Lines. The book is Unaddiction, 6 mind-changing conversations that could save a life. I'm Esther Dillard on the Black Information Network.